Go to hell. This is what we like to tell our friends when we're joking around with each other. And if we're angry at somebody, we use this phrase quite frequently. But in actuality, nobody really wants to go to hell. Everybody wants to spend time in paradise, in Utopia, in heaven. But today I'm going to tell you exactly why a trip to hell should be an essential part of our education system, and how this trip to hell could help us tackle the most pressing problem in the world today: climate change and global warming. So it all started with a trip to Ethiopia 1 year ago. I went to a place called the Danakil Depression, the hottest place in the world. It has the highest ever recorded temperature of more than 50 degrees Celsius. That's 125 Fahrenheit. And it has the highest average temperature ever in the world also. So as soon as I got there, all the hair on my arms and legs just felt like a thermal blanket. It all melted on me. My head and cheeks were streaming with sweat, and Christmas carols were going off in my head. That's right, I wanted to escape to the coolest place possible. Take me to Siberia in a snowstorm. Take me anywhere. Get me out of this place. I just wanted to leave. It was that bad. It's so hot there that biologists go there and to study microbes that they named extremophiles, because they think this otherworldly place in their organisms can help them understand extraterrestrial life. That's right, these extremophiles, that's what E.T. calls home in the Danakil Depression. E.T., when he's phoning home, he doesn't call another world. He calls the extremophiles in the Danakil Depression. So I remember this just like it was yesterday. I was walking around in the Danakil Depression, and then all of a sudden I came upon a caravan of camels, of donkeys, and rail-thin men. These men were so thin you could see their skulls protruding through their cheek skin. You could see that my forearms were even bigger than their legs, and you could see the sweat just glistening off of their bald, shaved heads, and every ounce of skin was covered with that sweat and pain. And I remember I focused on one man in particular. I was just observing him there, and he was working so hard. He was hoisting these blocks of salt onto his donkeys, and the weight was too much for the donkeys, so the donkeys would just collapse to the ground like this. Imagine having a thick fur coat in this extreme environment. But it was something that happened that I'll never forget. This man, he was working so hard, he wasn't stopping. He was loading up these heavy blocks of salt, and then all of a sudden he stopped. And he looked right at me. And his bloodshot eyes just stared, penetrated me with such strength, with such vigor, with such intensity. I thought this guy was a testosterone-charged prize fighter, and he was going to start dancing around me and sting me like a bee, thinking to himself, "What are you doing here? Why are you watching me? Get out here and help." So I started to quiver. My hands started to shake. I started to get all nervous. My heart pounded, and I had a chill down my arms in the middle of the Danakil Depression. But then his glance moved from my eyes down to my hands, where I was holding a bottle of water. And then he signaled to me like this. Oh, I thought, okay, he wants a bottle of water, that's all. Of course I'm going to give him this bottle of water. This guy is suffering so much. I handed him the bottle of water. I would have built him a swimming pool full of drinking water right there in the Danakil Depression if I had the tools. So he chugged that water and just threw it to the side and continued on his way, hoisting those blocks of salt. And the worst part about this was he had another 20-kilometer walk to go back to his village after he did this, and it was already 6 p.m. So he had been working all day long out in the heat. So, reflecting on this experience lately, I've had a big epiphany. This man's pain, suffering, and sweat is all my fault. Every year, our global temperature gets a little bit hotter. And it's all because of me. It's all because of me and that car I bought as soon as I was out of university. That brand new car I thought I was so cool buying. It was all because of me and my steak dinners and chicken dinners, I thought, making me a big, strong guy. It's all my fault because of all the trips to the shopping mall I had to get stylish clothes when I already had a closet full of unused clothes that just went to waste there. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do in a few weeks? I'm going back to my university students in South Korea. I'm going back to teaching in an air-conditioned room with fans blowing on me, with a big water cooler about 20 steps away. And what's this guy going to be doing? He's going to be out in the Danakil Depression with the same bloodshot eyes, with the same 20-kilometer walk to and from the area with salt. So I felt so ashamed of myself for being part of this problem for so long, for contributing to that man's blood, sweat, and tears. So I came up with a solution. Here's what we need to do. We need to have an educational field trip. That's right. We need to have every man, woman, and child, every global citizen in this world go and shadow these men in the Danakil Depression. We need to go in there and tell these guys in the Danakil Depression, hey, if you just let these people that are responsible for your suffering, that are responsible for the heat, like myself, shadow you, follow you, and help you, and learn from you, for 1 to 2 weeks per year, your job will be so much easier. We could help them hoist their salt blocks on their animals, and the temperature would hopefully remain constant instead of getting hotter and hotter and hotter every year. And we could pay everybody that participates in this educational program a local salary of $3 per day. Yes, you might be thinking to yourself, oh George, that's child abuse. How could we ever make children go out there and do this for $3 a day? They would be sweating and so painful. Well, my answer to that question is, isn't resilience, gratitude, adaptability, cross-cultural and environmental awareness, aren't these valuable parts of somebody's education? What about getting your third and fourth wind after walking 10 kilometers in the heat? Wouldn't that be a valuable part of education? To teach you to keep going when you want to stop. That's what life is all about. I want to stop talking right now, but I keep going. Yes, I want to go and do something comfortable right now, but I keep talking to you. Right. So we would sweat everybody into becoming environmentalists. Yes, after the first 1 to 2 week visit to the Danakil Depression, every man, woman, and child, every global citizen, they would forego animal products once and for all. Yes, they would think about all the grazing area that's wasted, all the trees we cut down to make cows, sheep, and pigs graze, all the energy-intensive activities that goes into raising cattle and putting hamburgers on our plates every day. Yes, we would ask for only 2 pairs of clothes instead of a whole closet full of clothing that we don't use. We could wash our clothes that we're wearing that same evening and then let it dry the next day and then put on our fresh pair of clothes, just like that. All we need is 2 pairs of clothes. And we would be begging for used bicycles instead of brand new shiny cars. This could change our consciousness forever. Not only from an environmental perspective, but from a perspective of world peace and harmony. Imagine if we had every global citizen going to the Danakil Depression for this training educational session. We would have Hindus and Muslims alongside each other. We would have Uyghur and Han Chinese alongside each other. We would have Trump supporters and Trump haters alongside each other, sweating it out, loading salt blocks on to donkeys and camels. Do you think there would be time and energy to argue with each other about our differences in hell, in the Danakil Depression? I think not. Every little bit of energy would be valued so much, and our egos would become deflated to the size of tiny fire ants. So we would all become friends. We would all realize that we are the same global citizen and that our differences are so stupid, ignorant, and petty. So there would be no more world wars, no more fighting amongst countries, religions, or races in the world today. Yes, we need to expand our consciousness. And I know what you're thinking to yourself right now. George, this is all very idealistic, but I can't take my family to Ethiopia. I can't go to Ethiopia, to the Danakil Depression. Here's what you can do in your life. You can give your friends, your family, people in your community a backyard education. The next time you have a hot summer day, take advantage of that. Go out, organize a picnic for yourself, and go sit down in an area where the sun is just blistering down on you. And you sit everybody down in that area in the sun when everybody has sweat trickling down their skin, and you keep them as entertained as possible, tell them stories, play some games together until it becomes too much, until the water runs out, until the sweat turns into bloodshot eyes of pain. Then you take them to the other side, to the tree that lies just a few steps away, and you make them sit under that tree and feel the cool shade, feel the cool air that that tree gives you. Have them sit and breathe. Feel the oxygen that that tree gives you. Yes, you make them feel that that tree is not separate from you or me. That tree is a part of us. That air we breathe becomes a part of us. That air comes from the tree. So that tree is no different from me and you. That tree is me. Everything is me. The fresh water that I drink to keep myself cool, to relieve myself from the blistering sun and replenish my sweat, is also a part of me. Do I want to destroy this tree, destroy the fresh water in the world, pollute that, or give it more life? The choice is up to us. We need to expand our consciousness from me to us. Not us as a family, not us as a country, but us as a group of global citizens, a group of global sentient beings, a group of sentient beings, humans, and everything on this world that replenishes us, nourishes us, and gives us life. Let's educate everybody, one person at a time, at the individual level. Remember, everybody thinks about changing the world, but nobody thinks about changing him or herself. That's what Leo Tolstoy said. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to hell or go out on your next day off and have a nice hellish picnic and then show everybody heaven in the form of that tree. So leave your comments. I want to know what you hear about this idea. If you have better ideas or if you have some other solution to this problem, please let me know in the comments section below. I love to hear from you and your ideas. Let's talk. Let's get to the truth together.